I always thought finding evidence of cheating would feel dramatic, like catching them in the act, or getting anonymous photos in the mail. Instead, I discovered my fiancé's affair while looking for a recipe we'd saved on his laptop. My name is Kinley, and 3 weeks before my wedding, I was searching through Trey's browser history for a butternut squash soup recipe we'd bookmarked. That's when I saw them. Dozens of intimate Facebook messages between him and Elise from accounting. Baby, I miss your touch. Last night was incredible. Kinley's so focused on work lately, she barely notices. My hands trembled as I scrolled through months of messages, photos, and late-night meetups. The timestamps showed their affair started right after our engagement party. What are you doing? Trey's voice made me jump. He stood in the doorway of our home office, coffee mug in hand. How long? I asked, my voice surprisingly steady. What are you talking about? He walked over, then froze when he saw the screen. You're snooping through my private messages? Private messages with Elise? Really? I turned the laptop toward him. The same Elise you said was just a work friend when I asked about all those late meetings. It's not what you think. Don't. I held up my hand. Just don't. Look, you've been so cold lately, always staying late at work, talking about that overseas position. So this is my fault? I stood up, my engagement ring suddenly feeling like it was burning my finger. I have needs, Kinley. And lately, you're more married to your career than to me. I slipped off the ring and placed it on his desk. We're not married yet. Thank God, his mother Faith called within the hour. I was in my car, parked outside our favourite coffee shop trying to breathe. Kinley, dear, let's talk about this rationally. Her cultured voice dripped with false concern. Every couple has their challenges before the wedding. He cheated, Faith, for months. Men sometimes stray when they feel neglected. Perhaps if you'd been more attentive? I laughed bitterly. I planned our entire wedding while working full-time. And that's precisely the problem. A wife should prioritise her husband, not her career. Though I suppose this behaviour explains why you're still unmarried at 29. My phone buzzed with another call, my mother. I ignored it. You're damaged goods now, dear, Faith continued. Walking away from this marriage would be foolish. Who else would want you? I ended the call and walked into the coffee shop. My phone kept buzzing, texts from my mother, sister, even my father. Mum. Call me immediately. Faith told me everything. Mara. Don't throw away your future over one mistake. Dad. Your mother's very upset. You need to fix this. I ordered my usual latte and sat in the corner, opening my work email to distract myself. A new message from Sierra, my colleague at the global office, caught my eye. Subject, offer letter attached. It's official. The transfer was approved. Call me ASAP. My hands shook as I downloaded the attachment. There it was. A formal offer for a senior strategy position at our European headquarters. The same position Trey had mocked as a pipe dream. My phone rang again. This time it was my mother. Have you lost your mind? She demanded. Faith called me in tears. He cheated, Mum, multiple times. All men stray sometimes. You're not getting any younger, Kinley. Do you want to die alone? I'd rather be alone than with someone who betrays me. You're being dramatic. Faith assured me Trey will forgive your career obsession if you apologise. Apologise? My voice cracked. For what? Working hard? Having ambition? For being difficult. Unmarriageable. No wonder he looked elsewhere. I stared at the offer letter on my screen, something hardening in my chest. You're right, Mom. I'm unmarriageable now. Finally, you're seeing sense. I have to go. I have a call with HR about wedding leave cancellation. I hung up before she could respond and opened my email. My fingers flew across the keyboard as I typed. Dear Sierra, I accept the position. How soon can I start? My phone lit up with another text from Faith. I hope you're ready to beg for forgiveness. It's your only chance at happiness. I took a sip of my latte and smiled, whispering to myself, go ahead, write my obituary. I'll be too busy writing my success story. The dress is beautiful, the consignment shop owner said, carefully examining my wedding gown. And never worn. I can offer you 3,000. Deal. I signed the paperwork quickly, not letting myself look at the intricate beading I'd once been so excited about. My phone buzzed. Another missed call from Mom. I'd been dodging her attempts at intervention for 2 weeks now, playing the part of the devastated almost bride while quietly preparing for my move. The shop owner handed me the check. "Are you sure about this, honey? Sometimes people regret." "I'm sure." I tucked the check into my purse and walked out, straight into my sister Mara. "Seriously?" She gestured at the shop. "You're selling your dress already. What's the point in keeping it? Mum's been trying to reach you for days. Faith invited us all to dinner tonight. She wants to talk things through." I laughed. "There's nothing to talk through." "Don't be stubborn. Faith only wants what's best for you. She says Trey's devastated." "Is that why he's already dating Elise publicly?" Mara shifted uncomfortably. "He's just processing. Faith says..." "Stop telling me what Faith says." Several passers-by turned to look. I lowered my voice. "I'm done listening to Faith." Back at my apartment, I continued packing, carefully labelling boxes for storage or shipping. My phone pinged with a message from Sierra. "Visa approved. Your flat's ready whenever you are. Also, Ray wants to know if you're free for dinner when he's in town next week." Ray Woods, our global CEO, had been surprisingly supportive of my transfer. I'd only met him twice, but his endorsement had fast-tracked my move. The doorbell rang. "Mum." "You're not even dressed," she barged in, eyeing my yoga pants and t-shirt. "Dinner's in an hour." "I'm not going." Faith went to a lot of trouble. "I don't care what trouble Faith went to." I continued taping boxes. She finally noticed the packed apartment. "What's all this?" "Spring cleaning." "Kinley Crawford, stop this nonsense right now. You're acting like a child." "A child?" I straightened up. "A child would cry and beg. A child would believe it when you tell her she's worthless without a ring. I'm doing neither." "No one said you're worthless." "Faith called me damaged goods. You called me unmarriageable. I was trying to help. You're throwing away your whole future over one mistake. My future isn't Trey. Or any man." I handed her a wedding invitation. "You can return this to Faith yourself." That night, I attended Faith's dinner party. Not because I gave in, but because I wanted to see their faces. I wore my best black dress, minimal makeup, and a practiced expression of quiet dignity. Faith held court in her dining room, Trey at her right hand. Elise sat next to him, wearing my old spot, trying too hard to fit in. "Kinley, dear," Faith's smile was razor sharp. "How brave of you to come." I nodded silently, taking a seat at the far end. Throughout dinner I felt their pitying glances, heard their whispered conversations. Poor thing, she looks terrible. Such a shame. She had such potential. At her age, starting over, I picked at my food, playing the role of the broken ex-fiancé perfectly, until the dining room door opened and a tall figure stepped in. "Sorry I'm late," Ray Woods said, his presence immediately commanding the room. Traffic was terrible. He walked straight to my end of the table. "Kinley, glad I caught you before your big move." Faith's wine glass slipped, splashing red across her pristine tablecloth. Trey's fork clattered against his plate. "Ray," I smiled genuinely for the first time that evening. "I didn't know you'd be here. Wouldn't miss it. We need to discuss your role in the Paris merger." He pulled up a chair beside me, completely ignoring Faith's stammered protests about seating arrangements. "I don't understand," Mara whispered loudly. "What role? What merger?" Ray raised an eyebrow at me. "Haven't you told them about your promotion?" "I wasn't sure who was in my corner," I replied, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Didn't want to seem unmarriageable." Faith's face went pale. Trey couldn't meet my eyes. And for the first time in weeks, I felt something better than revenge. I felt free. Faith cornered me in her powder room after dinner, her perfectly manicured hands gripping the marble counter. "What game are you playing?" "No game." I reapplied my lipstick. "Just living my life. Ray Woods doesn't personally handle transfers for mid-level employees." "Maybe I'm not as mid-level as you thought." I capped my lipstick. "Excuse me." Back in the dining room, my boss Tom was practically tripping over himself to talk to Ray. Just last week, he denied my request for a project lead position, claiming I lacked executive presence. "Kinley," Tom called out. "I've been meaning to discuss that leadership opportunity we talked about." "Too late," Ray cut in smoothly. "She's already accepted a better one. Europe's gain is your loss, Tom." I hid my smile as Tom's face fell. Trey was watching me from across the room, his arm around Elise, but his eyes following my every move. The next morning, Sierra flew in from London. We met at my favourite cafe, the same one where I'd received my offer letter. You should have seen their faces, I told her, stirring my latte. Faith looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. Good. Sierra's eyes narrowed. After what they did, they deserve worse. Speaking of which, she pulled out her phone. Ready to plan your farewell dinner? Nothing big. Nope, you don't get a say. You need a proper send-off. I'm thinking that rooftop restaurant downtown, exclusive guest list, lots of champagne, and, she grinned, one very special guest of honour. Ray's coming. He specifically asked to be included, said something about making a statement. That evening, my phone lit up with a message from my boss. Kinley, let's discuss your transition plan. Also, your corner office is ready whenever you want to move in. I showed Sierra the text. She laughed. Amazing how quickly they changed their tune when they realised they backed the wrong horse. Speaking of horses, I said, did you see Elise's performance review got leaked? Mysteriously leaked, Sierra winked. Along with some very interesting emails about how she got her promotion, the farewell dinner was 3 days later. The rooftop glittered with string lights, the city skyline creating a perfect backdrop. I'd invited only true friends, no family, no fake well-wishers. To new beginnings, Sierra raised her glass, and to Karma being a patient bitch. Everyone laughed, clinking glasses. Ray arrived fashionably late, commanding attention in his casual blazer. Speech! Someone called out. Ray stood, glass in hand. I don't usually attend farewell parties for employees, but Kinley's different. When I first reviewed her transfer application, I was impressed. When I met her, I was convinced. But when I heard how certain people tried to dim her light, he paused, looking directly at me. Well, let's just say some people mistake kindness for weakness, their loss. I blinked back tears as he continued. To Kinley, proof that the best revenge is massive success. Sierra nudged me. Smile! She raised her phone, capturing the moment. Ray with his arm around my shoulders, both of us laughing. Champagne glasses raised. Perfect for Instagram, she said, typing quickly. Caption, to the beginning. Later that night, as guests were leaving, Ray pulled me aside. You know they'll try to stop you, he said quietly. People like Faith, like your old boss, they hate when someone proves them wrong. Let them try, he smiled. That's exactly why I hired you. See you in London. I checked my phone on the way home. Sierra's post had blown up with hundreds of likes and comments. But one caught my eye. Trey, why is the CEO of Brand Edge holding you like that? I smiled, remembering Faith's words. You're damaged goods now, dear. My reply was simple, because he recognises talent when he sees it. Back home, I found a note slipped under my door. Mara's handwriting. We need to talk. There's something you should know. Something I did. I held the note, feeling the weight of unspoken words. Whatever confession Mara had, whatever new betrayal waited to be revealed, it didn't matter. In 2 weeks, I'd be on a plane to my new life. Let them whisper, let them wonder, let them write me off as unmarriageable. I was done being the girl who needed their approval. Sierra's Instagram posts spread through our social circle like wildfire. By morning, my phone was exploding with messages. Mum, the CEO? What have you done? Faith. How desperate, using your boss for attention. Trey, we need to talk, now. I ignored them all and headed to work. The office atmosphere had shifted noticeably. People who'd been avoiding eye contact for weeks suddenly wanted to chat. Is it true you're heading the European expansion? My co-worker Lisa whispered. Everyone's talking about that photo with Ray. Before I could answer, Tom appeared at my desk. Kinley, my office. Now. I followed him, noting how his hands shook slightly as he closed the door. Why didn't you tell me about your connection to Ray? He demanded. You never asked. Too busy telling me I lacked executive presence. He flushed. That was a misunderstanding. Look, about that project lead position. Still available? I smiled. Keep it. I'll be too busy with my global strategy role. My phone buzzed. Trey again. Missing you. Elise was a mistake. Can we meet? I deleted it without responding. Another message popped up. This one from Sierra. Check your email. You'll love this. The subject line read, Personnel Update, Accounting Department. Elise had been demoted following an internal review. During lunch, Mara called 3 times. I finally answered on the 4th. "Can we talk?" Her voice sounded strained. "There's something I need to confess." "The note you left wasn't dramatic enough?" "Please, Kinley, it's important. Meet me at Riverside Park after work." I agreed, more out of curiosity than sisterly obligation. The afternoon dragged until my phone lit up with a message that made my blood run cold. Faith. "Did you really think you could embarrass my son like this? Wait until people learn how you trapped him into proposing." I screenshot it and sent it to Sierra. "They're getting desperate." Sierra. "Good. Desperate people make mistakes. BTW, that magazine piece we discussed. You're in. They want to feature you in their Women Breaking Barriers series." At 6 p.m, I found Mara sitting on a park bench, looking smaller than usual. "What's this about?" I asked, sitting beside her. She took a deep breath. "Remember when you found those messages on Trey's laptop? Hard to forget. That wasn't the first time you could have found out." I turned to face her fully. "What?" 3 months before, I saw them together, at that bar near his office. Her voice cracked. "They didn't see me, but I saw everything." The world seemed to tilt. "You knew, all that time?" Faith caught me watching them. She pulled me aside and... Mara wiped her eyes. "She offered to pay off my student loans if I helped keep things quiet. Said it would destroy both our families if the wedding was called off." "So you helped them?" My voice sounded distant, strange. "My own sister. I deleted messages from his phone when you borrowed it. Made excuses for his late nights. Faith said I was protecting you." "Protecting me?" I stood up. "You protected him. You protected his mother. You protected your bank account." "I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do. Faith said..." "Stop telling me what Faith said." Several joggers startled at my outburst. "You watched me plan that wedding for months knowing he was cheating. You helped pick out my dress." "Please." She reached for my hand. "I'll do anything to make it right." I pulled away. "There's nothing to make right. We're done." Back home, I opened my laptop and started typing. "Dear editorial team, regarding the Women Breaking Barriers feature, I'd like to share my story. Not just about career advancement, but about choosing yourself when everyone tells you to settle. About recognizing that sometimes the people who claim to protect you are the ones holding you back." My phone pinged with a text from Sierra. "Faith's trying to spin the story. Says you're having a breakdown." I thought about Mara's confession, about Faith's threats, about all the quiet betrayals. "Let her spin," I replied. The truth hits harder. I attached my draft to an email, adding one last line: "Success tastes sweetest when they think you've starved." As I hit send, another message from Trey appeared. "You're making a fool of yourself. Come home. We can fix this." I blocked his number and opened my calendar, marking the days until my flight. 2 weeks. 2 weeks until I left behind the sister who betrayed me, the mother who doubted me, and the man who thought he could break me. Let them think I was having a breakdown. I was actually having a breakthrough. The magazine editor loved my draft. "Raw, real, and relatable," she said over our video call. "We want to run it as our cover story." "When?" I asked, glancing at my calendar. "Next month's issue." "Perfect timing with your move." She paused. "Are you sure about including the personal details? It might ruffle some feathers." "Let them ruffle." After the call, I met Sierra for coffee. She'd flown in again to help with final moving arrangements. "Your sister's been calling me," she said, sliding into our usual booth, crying about how she needs to explain. Nothing to explain. She chose her side. Speaking of sides, Sierra pulled out her phone. "Faith's been busy. Look at this." It was a social media post from Faith, praying for those who let ambition poison their hearts. Success means nothing without family. "Subtle," I snorted. "How's Trey taking the demotion?" Sierra grinned. "Not well. Turns out he's been taking credit for your work for years, without you covering for him. He's showing his true colours. More like drowning in his own incompetence. 3 missed deadlines this week alone." My phone buzzed. "Mom." "Have you completely lost your mind?" she demanded before I could speak. "Faith just told me about this magazine article." "How does Faith know about that? She has friends at the publisher. How could you air our family's dirty laundry like this?" "Our family's dirty laundry?" I laughed. "You mean like how my sister helped cover up my fiancé's affair?" Silence. "Oh, I said. Did Mara not tell you that part? What are you talking about? Ask her about the student loans Faith paid off. Ask her why. I hung up and blocked her number too. Sierra raised an eyebrow. Brutal. They wanted brutal. They got it. Later that evening, I was packing the last of my books when someone pounded on my door. Mara. Mum's hysterical, she burst out as soon as I opened the door. She knows everything. Faith is threatening to sue for defamation. With what evidence? The truth is an absolute defence. You don't understand what she's capable of. Mara grabbed my arm. She has connections, money. And I have proof. I pulled away. Every message, every email, every transaction to your bank account. Want to guess which makes a better story? I was trying to protect you. By taking Faith's blood money. By watching me waste a year of my life planning a wedding to a cheater. You don't know what it's like, Mara's voice cracked. Being the disappointing daughter. The one who couldn't afford college without loans. The one who wasn't smart enough or ambitious enough. So you sold me out to feel special? To finally be Faith's favourite? She promised to help me start my own business. Said I could be part of their family properly. Their family? I laughed bitterly. The same family that's about to be exposed in a national magazine. Great timing, sis. Mara's phone chimed. Her face went pale as she read the message. Faith's pulling her investment, she whispered. She says I failed her. Welcome to the club. I can't... Tears streamed down her face. I can't stay there anymore. Mom keeps screaming. Dad won't look at me. Faith is threatening. That sounds like a you problem. Please. She grabbed my hand. You're my sister. No. I pulled away. I was your sister when you watched Trey cheat. I was your sister when you helped him hide it. I was your sister when you told me to forgive him. I opened my door. Now I'm just the woman you betrayed for a loan payment. After she left, Sierra called. The article's going to print tomorrow, she said. Ray's added a quote about recognising talent in unexpected places. Faith must be loving that. Oh, it gets better. Remember that partnership deal Faith's company was chasing? The client saw an advanced copy of your story. And? They pulled out. Something about not wanting to associate with toxic workplace cultures. I walked to my window, looking out at the city I'd soon leave behind. You okay? Sierra asked softly. You know what's funny? I watched a family walking below, parents holding their children's hands. They all thought they were protecting me. Mum, Mara, Faith. They thought they knew what was best for me. And instead, they taught me the most valuable lesson. Sometimes you have to become everything they feared to become everything you're meant to be. Sierra was quiet for a moment. The magazine wants to title your piece Unmarriageable. I smiled. Perfect. The article dropped like a bomb. My phone started buzzing at 6 a.m. with notifications, messages and emails. Unmarriageable. How one woman chose success. Over Silence went viral within hours. I hadn't named names, but anyone who knew us could read between the lines. Rising executive breaks free from toxic engagement. Family pressure to maintain status quo. Systematic cover-up of infidelity. Sierra called while I was making coffee. It's everywhere. Have you seen the comments? I opened the article on my laptop. The comments section was flooded. This resonates so much. Left my fiancé last year after similar manipulation. Finally, someone saying what needs to be said about family loyalty versus self-respect. Can we talk about that mic drop moment with the CEO? Queen behaviour. My work email was equally chaotic. Industry colleagues I'd never met were reaching out. Your story inspired me to apply for that promotion. Thank you for speaking up about workplace dynamics. Would you consider speaking at our Women's Leadership Conference? Around noon, Lisa rushed to my desk. Elise just got escorted out. What? HR finally investigated those harassment complaints. Turns out she's been doing to other women what she did to you, sleeping with their partners, then using office politics to push them out. I thought about all the times Elise had smiled at me in meetings, knowing what she was doing with Trey. My phone buzzed with a text from Sierra. Faith's Boutique just lost another client. Their biggest one. I opened LinkedIn to find my inbox full of connection requests. One message stood out from Faith's former client. Your article resonated deeply. We've been questioning our partnership with certain agencies that don't align with our values. Thank you for your courage. Tom appeared at my desk, looking nervous. About your transition plan? Ray wants you to handle the Miller account personally before you leave. The Miller account? That's our biggest client. Ray insisted. Said something about wanting to show them what real leadership looks like. By evening, Saga Unmarriageable was trending locally. Someone had pieced together the real story and created a thread. Local agency owner's son exposed in viral article. Multiple sources confirm workplace harassment pattern. Former fiancé now heading global expansion while ex faces professional review. My doorbell rang. I checked the camera. Trey. Please, he called through the door. We need to talk. No, we don't. Mum's business is falling apart. Your article. Your actions, I corrected. Your choices. Your consequences. I made a mistake. I miss you. Elise meant nothing. Apparently she meant nothing to several people's relationships. He slumped against the door. Everyone's talking. Clients are pulling out. Mom's having anxiety attacks. Please, just tell them it wasn't about us. But it was about us. And your mother. And every person who thought they could break someone and call it protection. My phone lit up with a message from Ray. Saw the article. Perfect timing. Board wants to fast track your transfer. How soon can you leave? Another notification popped up. An email from the magazine. Response has been overwhelming. Would you consider a follow-up piece about workplace empowerment? Then a text from Sierra. Turn on the local news. Now. I switched on the TV to see Faith outside her boutique, surrounded by reporters. These allegations are completely false, she was saying, but a perfectly curated image was cracking. Her hands shook as she clutched her designer handbag. My son is a victim of a vindictive ex-fiancé who, the reporter cut in. Sources say multiple employees have come forward with similar stories of harassment and cover-ups. Would you care to comment? Through the door, I heard Trey's phone ring. His voice turned panicked. Mum, calm down. No, I didn't know about the other complaints. Yes, I know the board is meeting tomorrow. I don't know why Elise is threatening to talk. I opened my laptop and typed a quick email to Ray. I can leave next week. The sooner the better. His reply came instantly. Perfect. By the way, that article, that's exactly why I hired you. See you in London. A final text came through from an unknown number. You think you've won? We'll see who survives abroad, sweetheart. I showed it to Sierra. Trey's cousin Imran, she said. He works in our London office. Apparently, he's not happy about your arrival. I saved the message as evidence. Let them try their games in London. I wasn't the same woman they thought they could break anymore. I was unmarriageable, unstoppable, and just getting started. The London office's annual networking gala was in full swing when Imran made his move. I'd been there 3 months, successfully avoiding his petty attempts at sabotage. But tonight, he had an audience. Everyone! He clinked his glass, slightly drunk. Did you know our new transfer has quite the story? Sierra, who'd flown in for the event, grabbed my arm. Don't react. Let him dig his own grave. Tell them, Kinley, Imran continued. Tell them how you slept your way to the top. How you destroyed my cousin's reputation for revenge. The room went quiet. Ray Wood stepped forward, but I held up my hand. Interesting theory, I said calmly. Though I'm curious, which part upsets you more? That I expose workplace harassment, or that I'm doing your job better than you? Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Everyone knew Imran had been passed over for my position. You think you're so clever, he sneered. But we all know why Ray really brought you here. I brought her here, Ray's voice cut through the tension, because while you were busy riding your family connections, she was actually earning her success. He turned to the crowd. Speaking of which, Kinley, shall we announce the Q4 results? Imran's face paled. The quarterly numbers had just come in. My team had outperformed his by 40%. Actually, I smiled. Why don't you do the honours, Imran? Since you're so interested in my work. He lunged forward, wine sloshing from his glass. You manipulative bit! Security appeared instantly, escorting him out as he shouted obscenities. Phones recorded everything. Well, Sierra grinned, that'll make interesting social media fodder. Later that night, in my London apartment, I scrolled through the flood of supportive messages from colleagues. One email caught my eye, from Mara. I moved out, finally. Mum's not speaking to me, but that's probably for the best. I'm staying with Dad's sister for now. She read your article and she gets it. Says she wished she'd been as brave when she was young. P.S. Faith's boutique officially closed last week. I started to delete it, then stopped. Attached was a photo, Mara in a small apartment surrounded by moving boxes. She looked younger somehow, more like the sister I used to know. My phone rang. Sierra. Have you checked your work email? The video of Imran's meltdown reached the board. They're launching an investigation into nepotism in hiring practices. Let me guess. Starting with Faith's referral network? The very one. Oh, and you've been invited to keynote next month's leadership conference. I opened my calendar, then froze. The conference venue seemed familiar. Sierra, isn't this the same place you were supposed to get married? Yep. Poetic, isn't it? A message from Ray popped up. Board wants you to present the new global strategy, ready to show them what real leadership looks like. Another email arrived, from Mom. The subject line read simply, perhaps. Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps strength runs deeper than obedience. Perhaps, no, I'm sorry. Short. Cryptic. Very much my mother's style. But it was something. My doorbell rang. Sydney from HR stood there with a bottle of wine. Heard about the gala drama, she said, walking in. Thought you might need this. We sat on my balcony overlooking the London lights. You know, Sydney said, pouring the wine. When you first arrived, people said you were running away from something. And now? Now they know you are running towards something. Something bigger than their small-town drama. My phone buzzed with another message, from Trey. His first attempt at contact in months. They're dismantling everything Mom built. The network, the connections, everything. Happy now? I showed Sydney, who laughed. Still making it about him, I see. Some people never change. But you did. She raised her glass. To becoming unmarriageable. To becoming unstoppable, I corrected. Later that night, alone on the balcony, I opened my laptop to work on my keynote speech. The cursor blinked at the title. From unmarriageable to unstoppable, how losing everything helped me find myself. My phone lit up with one final message, from Sierra. Ray's hinting at a regional director position opening up. You in? I smiled, thinking of Faith's words all those months ago. Who else would want you? Turns out, quite a lot of people. Just not the ones who tried to break me. The conference hall buzzed with anticipation. Through the backstage curtain, I could see my old wedding venue transformed into something far more meaningful. A celebration of achievement rather than submission. 5 minutes. Sierra squeezed my arm. Ready to face your hometown? Born ready. I smoothed my blazer and checked my presentation notes one last time. The first slide read, Success is the best revenge. Kinley? A familiar voice made me turn. Trey stood there, looking somehow smaller in his ill-fitting suit. Can we talk? Your timing's impeccable as always, I said dryly. I'm about to go on stage. Please, just coffee, for closure. Sierra stepped between us. She's busy becoming everything you said she couldn't be. Take your closure elsewhere. He persisted. Mom's in therapy. The business is gone. Elise left me for her boss. I've lost everything. Sounds like karma doing her job. I miss you, he tried. We could start over. Mr. Harrison, Ray's voice cut through. This is a restricted area. Security. As Trey was escorted out, Ray turned to me. Ready to show them what they lost? I stepped onto the stage to thunderous applause. Familiar faces dotted the audience, former colleagues, old friends, even my father sitting quietly in the back. Everyone loves a good revenge story, I began. But this isn't about revenge. It's about resurrection. The presentation flew by. Statistics, success stories, global strategies. But it was the personal touches that held them spellbound. They called me unmarriageable, I said, nearing the end. They meant it as an insult. I took it as a challenge. Movement caught my eye. Mom slipped into the back row beside Dad. She looked different, less rigid, more real. Sometimes the people who claim to protect you are actually protecting their own limitations. Sometimes the biggest act of love is walking away. And sometimes I paused, meeting Mom's eyes. Sometimes family isn't about who stays, but who grows with you. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. Afterward, at the reception, Ray pulled me aside. The board's decision was unanimous. Regional executive director position is yours if you want it. When do I start? That's my girl. He handed me the offer letter. Sydney's already preparing your relocation package. A commotion near the bar drew attention. Faith had somehow gotten in, trying to approach various board members. Just one moment, she pleaded. I can explain everything. My son, your son, I called out clearly, is exactly where his choices led him, just like I am. She spun toward me, designer clothes hanging loose on her thinner frame. You destroyed us. No, Faith, you destroyed yourselves. I just refused to let you destroy me too. Security appeared again, but Faith had one last shot. You'll end up alone. No family, no husband. Actually, Sierra stepped up. She has both. We're her family now. The kind that celebrates success instead of suffocating it. As Faith was led out, Mum approached hesitantly. That speech, she said softly, about growing together. Did you mean what you wrote? About being sorry? I'm learning, she twisted her hands. Your father and I, we're in counselling, trying to understand where we went wrong. That's a start. And Mara, she's going back to school, following your example. Before I could respond, Sydney rushed over with my phone. You need to see this! The conference hashtag was trending. Clips of my speech were going viral, but one tweet caught my eye from Mara. Watching my sister prove everyone wrong. Maybe being unmarriageable runs in the family. Time to write my own story. The reception wound down into dinner. I sat between Sierra and Sydney, surrounded by my chosen family, when Ray clinked his glass. A toast, he announced, to our new regional executive director. Cheers erupted. Through the window, I caught a glimpse of Trey leaving the hotel, alone. You know what's funny? I said to Sierra. They thought making me unmarriageable would break me. Instead, it made me unstoppable. My phone buzzed with the final contract from HR. As I signed it digitally, I remembered Faith's words. Who else would want you? Looking around at my success, my true friends, my healing family, and my brilliant future, I knew the answer. Everyone who matters. I raised my glass. To being unmarriageable. To being unstoppable, they echoed. And in that moment, surrounded by victory and vindication, I realised sometimes the happy ending isn't a wedding. Sometimes it's walking away and building something better than anyone thought you could. That's not just revenge. That's revolution.